welcome to another episode of the Crispy Compact Communiqué, the 2021 version of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We're moving right along into a full year of being in the pandemic, but that doesn't prevent us from still giving you some interesting tidbits in sports, entertainment, and odd news. I am very happy today. Audio listeners, unfortunately, you need to check out the video version of our podcast to see what I'm talking about here. My laptop finally came back, and we are back into a professional podcast setting that we can do here in 2021. And I'm also proud to say we've upgraded a little bit here. So we've got a brand new template to use for our streaming and live shows here. I am very thankful that this finally came together, 2 months into 2021, 2 months later than it was supposed to be. But nevertheless, here we are, ready to go. I'm Rich Liebig.
I'm Michael Costanzo.
And it feels good to be back in a actual nice presentation here for the Crispy Compact Communiqué. We do have a lot of news topics to get to in sports and entertainment and odd news. But before we get into all of that, Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy that you got your laptop back finally. I'm excited to debut the new template. I remember you showed me the preview images of it like back around, I guess it was Christmas time.
Yeah.
You're like, look at what I'm working on for the new year. So it's exciting that you're finally getting to roll this out. But specifically on my end, I've been playing video games. You know, what else is new? But I finished another PlayStation 5 game, The Pathless. And it's, I'll say this about it. It's not the greatest demonstration of the next gen or the new gen capabilities, but it's a fun game overall. You are a nameless adventurer who has been tasked with cleansing the land of these possessed spirits. So this figure called the God Slayer comes and corrupts the four giant spirits that inhabit this land. So your job is to track them down and purge this plague that the God Slayer has placed across the land. It has a lot of light puzzle solving elements. It has a few really awesome boss fights, but the main gimmick is that there's no clear objective. That's why it's called The Pathless, is you just sort of explore the environment and you're cleansing the plague from the environment, and there's no particular order or direction you have to go in. It's all very free will based, however you want to approach it. And that's cool in terms of navigating the environment and that moment to moment exploration and traversal. It makes you feel really fluid, fun, and fast. The downside, of course, is that sometimes it gets incredibly repetitive. You go to one corner and then you realize, oh, the thing that I actually need is all the way on the other corner of the map. So then you'd have to, run all the way back over there. It's a lot of very samey game mechanics. So overall, I give it a 7.5 to an 8. It was good, but it wasn't spectacular. So there's my quick review of The Pathless on PlayStation 5. The biggest con against it, though, is the price tag. It's a $40 game. I was lucky enough to be able to borrow it. I would not spend more than $25 on this game. So if you're looking at getting The Pathless on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, wait for a sale. It's definitely not worth more than $20-25.
Yeah, that's going to be the new scale of how high a game should be rated. Are you willing to buy it at full price? Are you willing to buy it on a sale price? Avoid it completely?
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be the new criteria for a rating system for video games.
Now that games are going to $70 and every game has a special edition that's $80, $90, you got to decide, is this something that I need to play right now, or is this something that I can wait 2-3 months? Because now with all the digital games, there's constant sales, so I was lucky. Like I said, I was lucky enough that I could borrow it from somebody else who had it on PlayStation 5. So, after playing it, I can safely say, do not spend $40 on The Pathless. It's a good game. It's a fine game, just not $40 worth.
All right, so there you go. Mike's quick review of Pathless.
Yeah.
I just like the name Godslayer. That's what I picked up from
The
that.
God Slayer. Yeah, it's a pretty. I wish that the villain were as cool as the name.
All right, well,
But
I'll just believe it is cool for
just
Godslayer.
imagine it's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was doing. Rich, what were you doing other than getting the new laptop up and not the new, but the new previous refurbished, whatever you want to call it, fixed up laptop?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, that felt like a huge burden relieved. I mean, it took forever for this laptop to get repaired, but it finally did, thanks to all the people at Micro Center that worked hard to get it fixed. I love
Are they paying you to say that?
No, I just love Micro Center.
It's a good place. It's a
oh
good
my
place. I
God,
like it. Yeah.
I could get lost in that store. Just seeing it. And now they got all these like custom cases and stuff.
Are you sure they're not paying you to say this, Rich?
No,
because you're going on and on about how much you love it.
I am, but I do love that store. Go to Micro Center. Don't go to Best Buy. Support Micro Center.
You know, the best thing about Micro Center is one of the first reasons I ever went there was they sent out those little mailers where you get a free flash drive.
Yep.
Just for walking in. Like there's so many 32 gigabyte flash drives I have sitting around. I can't even tell you where they are from all the little free flash drive coupons they give out. It's like candy, but it's great. If you need a cheap flash drive, Micro Center, that's the place to go.
Yep, that's true. Did that. Also, something else I want to mention that I did this weekend, and it was with a couple of my close friends, and it was to celebrate my friend Anthony's birthday. You remember Anthony?
Yep.
We rented out a movie theater.
Oh,
we tried it out.
That's something we talked about on the podcast previously. So how did that work out? How did it go?
It was interesting. So the rules were that everybody in your group had to arrive and had to walk in as one group. So there was nobody could be late, nobody could be stragglers.
Okay.
So whatever your group was, they had to enter the theater as one, and no stragglers. Had to be one group.
Right.
But then other than that, yeah, it was cool to be back in the movie theater again. It was very surreal. It was like, oh my gosh, I forgot what this was like,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's neat that like it's you and like 8 other people, and you just take over this movie theater.
That is pretty cool.
And you choose any seat you want, and you just enjoy the show. And it was good. It was an interesting experience.
So what did you guys end up seeing then? Because you have your choice of movies, right?
So not exactly. They have like a list of movies to choose from.
Right.
And obviously if you do like a newer movie, that costs exponentially more.
Okay.
So like if
that figures.
So yeah, like if you wanted to see like Wonder Woman 1984 or The Little Things, or one of those newer movies, that raises the price pretty heavily. So instead, we just went to see Kung Fu Panda.
Hey, that's a good movie right there. That's one of my favorites.
It is. I gotta admit, for me not being in the animation, I like that movie. It's pretty good.
Kung Fu Panda is pretty good, and it fits with the general theme. For those of you watching the video, you'll see my Cobra Kai background.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I'm in a very karate-ish mood lately.
Yeah, well, Cobra Kai will do that. I love Cobra Kai. I cannot wait for season 4.
When's it coming out?
I think
they don't know yet.
Yeah, I think they're shooting it right now, so they don't know how everything will fall into place. But yeah, Cobra Kai, I've sung the praises of that far too much. For a fact I love that show.
Oh yeah, I know. Now I've taken on the mantle of singing the praises.
Yeah.
So the point is, Kung Fu Panda is a great kung fu movie.
Yes. All right, that's it. Enough introduction. We gotta start hitting some news topics, and there is a lot of news to get to, but none more bigger than the news that broke. Of course, had to happen on freaking Thursday when we come out with the podcast, and everything's already nice and recorded, and we can't re-edit it. It's already out in the internets. So obviously we're a week behind on this, but it did happen. Carson Wentz officially traded to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 draft picks. One is a 3rd round pick for the upcoming draft this March, And then the other one is a conditional pick in 2022. The baseline is a second round pick, but it can turn into a first round pick if Wentz plays 75% of the offensive snaps or 70% of the snaps and they make the playoffs. So you have to root for Wentz to complete a season if you want that to be a first round draft pick. Mike,
Yeah.
what are you feeling?
Man, a whole mixed bag of emotions. So, I mean, one, sad to see the Wentz era over in the way that it happened. I think back to 2016 after his first couple of games. I remember sitting here on the podcast and saying, Rich, jump on the Wentz wagon. This is Wentzylvania. He's going to be the franchise quarterback. Very next year, we win the playoffs, or not the playoffs, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, not just the playoffs.
I know, win the playoffs on the back of a near MVP season. And since then, it's been a steady decline. And it was so painful the past 3 years because you're like, God, if only he could, if only he could, if only he could. There was always, some what if. And he just never seemed to ascend to that level again. And then seeing the way that it completely devolved this past season with now the reports are coming out. He hadn't spoken to Peterson in months at some point during the season. And, just the way that he was viewed by some teammates as, not as approachable or not forming those bonds, it was just really difficult to hear the whole thing. So sad to see the Wentz era come to an end in the way that it did. Pissed off that the trade happened the way that it did as well. Not only the timing of it, but the return on it. But more than anything, relieved that it's over. Because now the contract will be off the books in 2022. 2021 is going to be a bad year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I mean, we already expected as much, at the end of this past season. But the contract is off the books for 2022. We can start rebuilding. We're going to trim a lot of dead weight this offseason. We're going to get into all the players that are, on the way out. But this is what this team needs. It needs a youth movement. It needs to clear cap space, and it needs to completely rework its schemes and its plans from, top to bottom to top. So more than anything, sadness, annoyance aside, it's relief, I think.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into all the moves during the rebuild in just a quick second, but before we do,
well, I want to hear your opinion on the trade first, though.
Well, I it is what it is, to be honest with you. The sad fact is that only the Colts offered any sort of trade package. Not even the Bears apparently did. The Bears had interest, but they didn't actually offer a formal package. So unfortunately, this is what you get when there's no demand. You got to take you got to take whatever one person is offering you.
Right.
And the Colts were smart. I gotta give credit. The Colts were smart to realize nobody else is going to go after Wentz after what everybody saw in 2020. So they just held pat and said, "Go ahead, wait as long as you want. We're going to call your bluff." And they totally did. So I gotta give credit to the Colts. They played this hand beautifully.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, though, I want to focus on the draft because now this is I feel like you got to talk about this now because the Eagles have the 6th overall pick.
Yeah.
And now that Jalen Hurts is now the only signed quarterback on the Eagles roster, do you think it's possible the Eagles are going to target a quarterback with the 6th overall pick? It is a pretty high draft pick.
Oh man, I
Mike didn't come out instantly with a no on that one
because I know the Eagles and they're in rebuild mode. That means they're going to target one of 3 positions: offensive line, classic move; defensive line. We got a lot of aging defensive line players. They love to build from the defensive line out; and quarterback. New coach, new regime, new quarterback, right? That's usually the way it goes.
Usually a new head coach usually wants to put his own quarterback in.
They want, quote unquote, their guy. So if you accept the notion that we're in full rebuild mode, which I think it's pretty impossible to not look at the coaching and player moves and not say we're in full rebuild mode. Let's none of this half step BS. So this is full rebuild mode. They nuked the team. It's got to be quarterback, offensive line, or defensive line. If they go and get a wide receiver, which is who I would love them to say, I would love them to take one of those elite wide receivers that I hear coming out in the draft, generational talents in Chase and Smith and even Jalen Waddle. Like, we need another Jalen on the team.
The Philadelphia Jalens.
It would make what, 4? If we take Jalen Waddle at 6 overall, it would make 4 Jalens. No, I would love for them to take a premier wideout like that, something that we've never really had. But knowing the Eagles, knowing what a rebuild takes, it's going to be quarterback, offensive line, or defensive line at 6.
So
that is pretty much a guarantee. If they take wide receiver, it would be a complete shift in Eagles strategy and just how they view building rosters.
So what? But I want to focus on quarterback. What odds do you think is going to be a quarterback at number 6?
Pretty good odds.
Whoa, yeah.
I think pretty good odds. Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think that they're fully sold on Hurts. Okay. Because they tried to keep Wentz. They wanted to keep Wentz. Now, whether that was because of the monetary investment or whether they really believed in Hurts, I know the Eagles, and I know that we can't have a season without quarterback controversy. It is biblically forbidden, Rich. Okay, it's not even a matter of legal matters. It's biblical at this point. We cannot, in my lifetime, have a season where there's no quarterback controversy. So, in order to fulfill the mandate of creating a quarterback controversy, we will draft a quarterback at 6th overall, or we might, trade down, and Howie Roseman will try to 4D chess them and get a quarterback later in round 1 and, turn the 6th overall pick into, a later round 1 pick and a mid-second round pick. This is Eagles 101. If there is a textbook for how to draft in the Eagles, draft room, it is do the 4D chess move, outsmart not only everyone else but yourself, and take the most boring, bland positions imaginable. So that's what's going to happen. I think the Eagles are probably going to go quarterback. I mean, they've even said it coming out of their camp. They said you very rarely draft this high. You very rarely draft this high.
So this is where I'm going to do some weird counter and weird logic to this.
Okay, go for it.
So my gut feeling is the Eagles are going to trade out of the number 6 spot.
Probably.
I think that coming off of a COVID-affected college football season where you only have 6 or 7 games to evaluate some of these players, you're going to want more lottery tickets as opposed to the strength of the lottery ticket.
I already hate this logic.
Yes.
Not what you're saying, but just the fact that I know it's going to happen.
Yes.
That's what I hate about it.
So I foresee if I'm looking at my crystal ball, I think the odds are Howie's going to trade down from the 6th spot and try and amass as many 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks as he can to try and have multiple stabs at picking up a quality player. There is also this little bit that I want to mention, and this will piss me off if the Eagles do select a quarterback here. I want to give a shout out to my brother-in-law, Mike, for pointing this out to me.
Are you going to mention the other North Dakota State quarterback?
No.
Okay.
The Eagles literally have pick number 6 for a quarterback. That doesn't bode well. That's just asking for that's bad karma. That is asking for this poor dude, whoever you draft as a quarterback, to literally be called pick 6. This is not going to go well.
I actually love that point, and props to you said your brother-in-law. That's a really good point there. And I really, you couple that with the idea that there is a North Dakota State quarterback coming out who's one of the top rated prospects. I mean, it's just right up the Eagles' alley to do something stupid like that, isn't it?
Oh, dear God. I hope not. So there is a chance that could happen, though. But if it's up to my crystal ball, I think it's more likely how he trades down and tries to collect more draft picks. I think
Okay, trades down, fine. What's the position he targets first? Let's say late first round. Where does he go?
I think at that point you just go offensive line or because you need to build the interior. You have to work your way from the interior out.
Okay.
I don't think at that point it's worth it to grab a quarterback unless you're looking at another project quarterback. But
So you think they run with Jalen Hurts, at least for the year?
I think so. I think that's probably in the cards.
I think they should, but I really just have zero faith in the Eagles front office.
Dear God, they do not draft Mr. Pick Six. Please, it's written for Philadelphia fans to make fun of them. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, well, let's move off the draft and get more into the actual Eagles rebuild because there is a lot of changes happening. We already knew the coaching situation, new head coach, new defensive coordinator, Deuce Staley gone, Press Taylor gone. There's a lot of changes there. But now, over the weekend, if you followed the Crispy Noodle social media accounts, we were trying to keep you abreast as the two big players gone between Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
I know that there was a kind of a joke for Deshaun Jackson. A couple people said, huh? He's still on the team? Yes, he was still on the team. So that's more of an emotional kind of a thing. Deshaun Jackson officially released. And then Alshon Jeffrey going to be cut as well. So Eagles, there you go. Rebuild right there. Rebuilding the wide receiver core right there. And some shoes that we're waiting to see fall. We have Malik Jackson on the defensive line. And, of course, tight end Zach Ertz. That's a big one that's probably going to happen sooner than later as well.
Yeah.
So
out of all 5 names that we've mentioned so far, Carson Wentz, the 2 receivers, Jackson and Zach Ertz, I think Zach Ertz is actually the one I'd be the most upset about. Because, I mean, he was, unlike Wentz, he was an Eagle through and through. There was never any doubt about where he wanted to play, about coming in and working hard and giving it his all every single time. So it's going to suck to see him go. But on the flip side, for as much crap as I get about my apparent love of the Patriots and the Bill Belichick, which I still disagree with those assertions to this day, I will admit the one thing that I admire about the way they conduct business is their uncanny ability to shed talent, right before that talent starts to turn south. Whereas the Eagles have routinely held on to that talent long after they've turned south. So if they can take Zach Ertz right now, coming into his late 20s, and trade him for a second-round pick, because I think his value is quite high as a tight end, one of the premier tight ends, even though he didn't do much this past year. People know what he's capable of. I think you're on the right side of that sell. I think you hold on to him any longer, you have to shell out a big contract. And if he continues to decline with age, as players normally do, especially with somebody seeing his volume in the offense, I think you're going to get far less of a return, both in production on the field and in potential trade value. So I think that while it would suck to see him go, you would love to see him retire an Eagle. I think it's the right move to try and trade him now while the value's high. While we have Dallas Goedert waiting in the wings. You have free agents out there that you can bring in to become a backup tight end. So
you already have Richard Rodgers.
You already have Dick Rod, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
hey, look, he won us a bet. He won us a bet this past season, didn't he? So, I'm all for Dick Rod. Dick Rod's my favorite.
Yeah. I want that isolated.
Go ahead.
But there you go.
Yeah.
A couple of the big departures that have happened and will probably happen as we get closer and closer to the draft and the new league year. All right, let's move off of the Eagles because I want to talk about this story that happened with the Tennessee Titans. This might go down. If the dominoes fall as the reports are saying, this might go down as the biggest draft bust in NFL history. This might even be worse than Ryan Leaf.
Okay.
So literally last year, the 2020 draft, the one we covered live, literally that one, The Titans took offensive tackle Isaiah Wilson, highly ranked lineman, to help them protect the Titans quarterback now, and I forgot his name now. Tannenhill.
Ryan
I want to
Tannehill.
say Fitzpatrick. It's not Fitzpatrick. It's Ryan Tannenhill. So obviously highly rated. I think he was the 29th overall pick. So late first rounder, but still first round pick. I mean, we're talking some quality.
They're expected to come in and start and make a difference.
Correct. Well, unfortunately, a lot of things go wrong with this dude. So first off, naturally, he apparently had a poor work ethic in the practice and the game film room.
Not good.
Not good right off the bat. Titans coaching staff were disappointed in his work ethic. Even the general manager called him out on poor practice and gameplay. So that's not
pretty bad.
That's not pretty bad. Yeah, not good right away to have your immediate bosses already calling you out on things you're supposed to be doing and you're not doing. But then throughout the season, he lands on the COVID-19 and the short-term injury list multiple times throughout the season. So now he's not even getting NFL reps out on the field.
Right.
So that's not good. And now it has been revealed that he's had 2 separate run-ins with the cops. The first one was he was at a party where he almost jumped off a second-story balcony.
Okay.
Sure. I don't know why. Why as a professional NFL player are you risking your bodily health to jump off of a balcony?
Probably some stupid dare.
At a party? Yeah, I don't know. Luckily, the cops were lenient on him for that one and only charged him with trespassing. But then the second violation he had was a DUI. So this is just one bad thing after another. And then this past week, he tweeted in, I guess, a little bit of a fit of rage. He tweeted that, quote, he was done with football, unquote. That Twitter post was then deleted off of his page. But it's already out there. Now you've got the newspaper swirling. He could be done. This could be it. Would this go down as the biggest draft bust in history? Literally. First round pick and 1 season done. Nothing.
Well, we don't know if he's done. I mean, people are done with lots of things. I'm done with this and done with that, or I'll jokingly say, "Oh, something is dead to me." It's not literally dead to me. It's we're being hyperbolic. So whether Wilson meant it that way or meant it like he's literally retiring. I mean, if you're going to retire, if you're going to quit, then just do it. Don't make a post and then delete it, right? So the fact that he deleted it, to me, indicates he realizes, oh wait, I can still, even if I suck, ride the bench and make a couple $1 million. So I don't think he's done with football. However, he might not be done with football. The Titans might be done with him, because look, you can be pissed about football. You can say I'm done with football, but you go through this list and point for point, this is all on him. Okay. If you're not showing up for practice and you're not playing well, that's on you. If you're getting placed on the COVID-19 short-term injury list multiple times, again, that's on you. Probably because of all the parties you went to where you're jumping off of second-story balconies, which you're not supposed to be doing during a pandemic. Or how about just regularly not jumping off of balconies? DUI, that's, again, all him. So, I don't think he's going to be done with football, but I think football maybe, if he continues to have a bad offseason, might be done with him.
You sound like Spaceballs and Pizza the Hut. If you don't,
I'm going to take out for you.
Yeah, you don't watch out. Pizza is going to take out for you.
I mean, that's what's going to happen. The Titans are going to take him out. I got to say, though, it's not all Wilson's fault. It's also the Titans' fault. All right. They're not absolved of all blame here. How does none of these character issues come up during pre-draft evaluations? How do you get a player who, like, it's all of a sudden so shocking. Like, oh my God, how is he this bad? I don't know. Did you do your due diligence? You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know how they missed this many character hiccups in a
Maybe,
player.
it's kind of apropos. Think about the end of last season when the Titans went on that crazy run through the playoffs and almost made the Super Bowl. It's almost like their draft scouts weren't expecting to pick that low. Like they thought like, we're not going to be in the bottom half of this draft. Oh, make the playoffs. We're not going to be past 20. Oh, won another game. We're not going to be in the bottom 5 of this.
So wait, what are you suggesting, that they only vetted like the top 15 prospects and like, we're not going to need to know anybody after that? And they're like, whoops.
It makes sense.
Look, that's really bad planning, but I mean,
it makes sense. How else do you try and scheme this off that they didn't know that he had character flaws?
Yeah,
it kind of fits.
I mean, sure, I guess it does. You're right in the fact that the Titans did kind of stumble backwards into this recent, upswing. They're like, all of a sudden they're like, oh wait, we're good. How did that happen? Yeah,
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna run that guy into the ground.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, the long and the short of it is, I don't think Wilson's done with football, but we'll see if the Titans decide to give him another shot after a disastrous rookie year. If they do part ways with him, they'd probably have to eat a whole bunch of dead cap space for that, first rounder guarantee. I don't know what the first round guaranteed contracts are like.
It's a chunk, but it's not overly.
Not too bad.
I don't think it would be. Yeah, I don't think it would be. It wouldn't be crippling.
Maybe they just outright cut him then. So I mean, if he's that bad, they're not depending on him.
Yep.
So they made the playoffs with him being on the COVID-19 list multiple times. So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, this could be a story. Imagine if the Titans cut him, and then imagine nobody picks him up. Like, I think that would go down as the biggest draft bust in history. At least Ryan Leaf had 3 seasons. Like, yeah.
I personally still say that one of the biggest draft busts is right in Philadelphia's own draft history, where I mentioned this to you via text. They drafted that guy who was like 28, 29 years old coming out of college. He was a firefighter and a hockey player, and he decides, I'm going to play football, and then like immediately sucked and was out of the league within like 2 years. Remember that guy, that offensive lineman? Danny.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Danny Watkins, I want to say.
Well, I still think this is worse because this was a first round draft pick. So
was Danny Watkins.
Was it? No.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna look him up.
All right, look him up. I don't think he was a first round draft pick.
Danny Watkins. Yeah.
Yeah.
23rd overall pick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess I'm wrong.
Anyway, but no, this guy is still pretty bad.
Yeah, this is still pretty bad. All right, so there you go. That's it for sports. For right now, we got to move to entertainment, and we got to talk about Star Wars, but a subject that is associated with Star Wars, but not actually Star Wars itself. We got to talk about the crazy case of Gina Carano versus Disney. This is something I wanted to get involved in. Because obviously I had so many people texting me, hey, you hear Carano? She's gone. No, So I took it upon myself to investigate the story a little bit further. And there's a couple of things that I'm surprised that isn't part of this story. So I want to get into it just a little bit and try and explain that this is a much more complicated story than just one bad post she made trying to say that she felt like a person of the Jewish faith during the Holocaust. So that was the post that set the powder keg off, and everything went astray from there. I'm going to start this off by saying I come from the school of George Carlin, that I don't necessarily like the idea of cancel culture, and I don't like the idea that if you express one idea or one unpopular opinion that you should be written off the face of the earth. I don't like that at all. I think you have the freedom of speech to say what you want and to explore what you mean to say as well. So I
People
just
have to deal with the consequences of
yeah
what they say. I
they
mean, people can say what they want to say.
they do, right, but on the on its face first, I don't believe that one tweet or one idea or one article, bam, instantly marks you person non grata and you can't do anything anymore
Right.
or anything like that. I think you have a right to explore ideas, and you shouldn't be canceled because of just one thing.
Right.
You should, and you should have the right to explain yourself as well.
Right.
So
People have to be given an opportunity to, take what they've said and either, correct it, apologize for it, or, given an opportunity to grow or change. I'm not in any way advocating what Gina Carano said, but you're right. One misstep should not spell the doom of someone. They should be allowed, everybody makes a mistake. Now, I think what you're going to get into is what happens if it's not just one.
right. So, but just before I get into that,
Yeah.
I that bothers me about that whole cancel culture movement. All right, just
Yeah.
you don't just not one thing makes the whole thing. So I just want to get that off my chest that I'm not for cancel culture either in the middle of this. Now the flip side, going into this story, there is a lot that Gina Carano is completely wrong about. And it is amazing that Disney actually put up with her as long as she did. According to several news articles, Disney has been telling her multiple times to please stop with some of these political posts that she's been doing. And Carano is pretty active on Twitter, and she has been a voice for the Republican Party and for the Trump movement and everything like that. So, I mean, whether or not that's right or wrong, whatever. The point is, her employer, Disney, asked her multiple times, please stop doing this. Okay?
Yeah.
Multiple times. All right? Not once. Multiple. This also includes, some prodding of transgender news stories where a couple of years ago there was a whole kerfuffle about using pronouns and using it the right way. She infamously put boop boop as her status, and that drove the transgender community very angry at her. So Disney came out multiple times in her career and said, please, just try and stay away from this. All right? Please don't. All right. Now we get to 2 weeks ago where Carano makes this Holocaust post comparing Republicans to that she felt like supporting the Republican Party was akin to being a Jewish person during the Holocaust. Okay, so she gets the backlash. Disney offered her a way out in this, and I can't believe this part of the story is not publicized more. Disney shot her an email saying, hey, we would like you to apologize for that post you made. Here is the apology we would like you to send out. And from the news reports I've read, if she had done that, Disney would have considered that water under the bridge, and they would have let bygones be bygones, and they would have been fine with her. But instead, Carano essentially doubles down and doesn't issue the apology, doesn't even respond back to Disney, and then Disney is in no position, and they are forced to can her. And that's when you got the statement that she's no longer a part of Lucasfilm anymore. And then Carano is acting like she is she's being unfairly treated.
She's the victim in all this.
And now she goes running into the arms of Ben Shapiro for some odd reason. And now she is signed on to do a movie with Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. Look, this is just crazy. I don't know how things got this bad. I don't know how we got from A to B to C exactly. other than what I've just told you. But I can't believe that it got to this point. And whether or not you agree with Gina Carano politically, that's not even really the issue. The issue is just she's not being receptive to her employer.
Right.
And I mean, I think I know where Mike's going to go with this statement, so I'll let him go next. But it's just, it doesn't, I'm surprised at just how outraged every party in this feels that they are. It's bizarre to me.
Yeah. The outrage annoys me. The outrage in saying that Gina Carano, was done wrong by Disney. No, she was not. Because if I walked into my job and I said the things that she said, and you didn't even go over, I'm reading a BBC article that goes into even more of them, spouting, unproven statements about voter fraud, questioning the use of masks during a pandemic. I mean, she was lighting it up on social media with a lot of really controversial views that Disney obviously found problematic, that are problematic for a lot of people. If I walked into my office and I started saying those things and knowing that my employer didn't like it, I wouldn't have a job. Plain and simple. If you walk into your office and you say something that that your company, doesn't subscribe to, and more than that, I mean, you're offending and you're causing issues with other people, and the fact that you keep doing it, like, I agree that you can say whatever you want to say, but be prepared for the consequences of what you say, right? If you're saying things that are inflammatory and cut a certain way and demean certain peoples and upset your employer, I can't really feel sorry for you at that point.
Yeah.
Because you, as an adult in modern society, you should know you can say whatever you want to say, but be prepared to face the consequences. So I don't feel sorry for Carano. And it kind of annoys me even that Disney gave her such an easy out. Just sign this pre-made apology and we'll sweep it under the rug for money. That kind of annoys me, honestly. That's the thing that annoys me.
It is Disney.
It is Disney. Yeah. They're like, we'll forget all the cultural insensitivity and inflammatory remarks if we can print more money. And I think what's happening here is people have such a rage hard on for Disney that they're willing to take Carano's side in this to make Disney seem like the villain. I've seen online, people will go to any lengths to villainize and demonize Disney. And don't get me wrong, they do things. I know you're one of them, Rich.
Look at me. I'm usually the first person to be anti-Disney. I'm actually on the side of Disney on this. They gave her multiple chances.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Disney has its faults, as does every huge monolithic company does, But in this case, I'm sorry, they're in the right. And Carano's actions before and after, to me, indicate that she doesn't care about what people think. She doesn't care about, the potential damage of her social media. She doesn't even care about what Disney did to her. She ran into the arms of Ben Shapiro.
By the way, that's still, I can't believe that's a thing. I can't believe that's a headline.
The fact that happened indicates to me this is a thinly veiled pivot to a different angle. This whole conversation annoys me. This whole Gina Carano thing, because I don't know. I don't want to. I'm trying to not get too too heavy with this. But she deserved to be let go by Disney. Disney gave her multiple warnings and outs.
Even politics. This is not even political. This is what I'm trying to. Like, it's just a matter of you're just blatantly just trying to be offensive for the sake of being offensive at that point.
Yes.
All right.
And I think all of this is a thinly veiled attempt to create a situation in which she can continue to say offensive things without being monitored, basically.
Yeah.
If I can be so bold as to say that, I think that's clear now at this point.
Yeah. So unfortunately, as much as I love the Mandalorian, I you know this is what needed to be done, I think, by Disney. So
Yeah.
I don't know how exactly her character will be handled post post season 2, but
It's a bounty hunter world. She got bountied.
she got bounty. She got bountied.
That's the easiest write off that I've ever seen. Look, most of the people wear masks in that stupid show anyway. You can't see anybody's face. So just have her slap on a mask, just have a body double slap on a mask, and boom, or a helmet, boom, she got bountied. It's like the first episode. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad.
She got bountied.
Good riddance. She got bountied. Good riddance.
5 seconds. That's all you need. She got bountied.
She got bountied.
There
you know,
go.
Star Wars with the intro crawl, you know, you just do one of those.
Actually,
she got bountied.
It's just one line. She got bountied. That's
Yeah.
it. But actually, it's at the bottom of the text. BTW. She got.
This is a long scroll. Then at the end, oh, by the way.
But BTW. She got bountied.
She got bountied.
All right, I'd support that. It's pretty
Yeah.
good. Very good. All right, let's leave serious topics there and let's go to more absurd things, because this trailer dropped and both me and Mike were ecstatic. The movie industry is going to bring back Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Mortal Kombat, the film adaptation for 2021. The trailer looks pretty good.
It looks good. It looks good, man. I'm telling you.
It checks everything that you would want to see between over violence and over blood and ridiculous one-liners and Scorpion and Sub-Zero. The only blowback is one of the original characters is not in it. Johnny Cage. No Johnny Cage in this, at least in the trailer. Maybe, I would hope, maybe they would have something up their sleeve. I think that's kind of a big one to miss. But nevertheless, it's still interesting that Mortal Kombat is returning to the movie format. Mike, what was your reaction to the Mortal Kombat trailer?
I loved the trailer. I thought that it, like you said, it ticked all the boxes. And I really appreciate the fact that HBO and Warner Brothers, they're not pulling any punches. They're like, look, Mortal Kombat is a game that made its money based on being the most controversially violent game in the 90s. And so you open up the trailer with one of the characters getting his arms ripped off. I mean, that's what Mortal Kombat is about. I'm not going to Mortal Kombat for, you know, PG or PG-13 fights. It's about ripping out hearts, ripping off heads, impaling people with, you know, torn out spinal cords. As gross and gruesome as it sounds, that is, as weird as it is to hear people talk about it, especially me. You need that in Mortal Kombat. You need that type of violence in Mortal Kombat. If you don't have it, it loses some of what makes it unique. You know, it's supposed to be over the top, gory. It's not that I'm supporting outright gore in anything. You know, gore for the sake of gore is sometimes problematic, but Mortal Kombat's an established franchise for, you know, almost 30 years. So at this point, that's its shtick, you know? Like you said, it was interesting. There was no Johnny Cage though.
Yeah. I do like a little Johnny Cage. So
and I'm looking at the full cast list and I don't see him listed. So either it's going to be a secret or an Easter egg or whatever it might be. No Johnny Cage is kind of sad. You're right. I didn't notice that. Personally, I don't care too much because my favorites, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, are in the movie. So
everybody loves Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Yeah, I mean, they're,
and literally they say "get over here" in the trailer. That's great.
Exactly. I know. There's been a little bit of revisionist history online recently claiming that the 95 Mortal Kombat movie is one of the best video game movies ever made.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about it? So do you think this movie could be better than the greatest video game movie ever made, the 95 Mortal Kombat movie?
I hope so, because the bar for that's pretty low.
I don't know. I remember watching the original 95 movie and maybe I need to rewatch it with a new perspective, but I don't remember it being the best video game movie ever.
No.
But I'm hoping that Mortal Kombat can change that. This is, last week we talked about video game movies and television franchises and how this could be a new era for video game movies and TV. So, hopefully this starts to turn that trend around. We talked about Last of Us last week.
Yeah.
And the Uncharted movie. I think Mortal Kombat, we completely overlooked Mortal Kombat. What if Mortal Kombat comes out and is a huge hit? I think coming out on HBO Max has the potential to create this huge movement of, social media fanfare and just word of mouth. People like, hey, you got to check this out. Almost like Wonder Woman 84, which was crap. But everybody was like, hey, watch this movie because it's a pandemic and everybody's desperate for new movies. So Mortal Kombat could very easily just, cozy up there to the top of the streaming charts.
And it's very fitting that it's HBO because they can get away with whatever they want to. So I love it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have high hopes for the movie.
Yeah.
And it comes out right around your birthday, Rich.
Perfect birthday present.
There you go. HBO Max is like, here you go. Watch this.
Mortal Kombat. All right, there you go. We'll leave entertainment at that optimistic point of view. Because now it's time to get into odd news. In this story, we're not going to Florida. We're going to Oregon.
Okay, the Oregon Trail. Let's try not to die of dysentery on the way there.
No dysentery. But instead, we're going to talk about alcohol.
Okay.
So, good job. And it's a world record.
Oh.
So
this could be bad. Go ahead.
Congratulations to Oregon for this record here. So the first part of this story starts out as a crime.
As they all do.
Because we have to follow the case of 28-year-old Nathan Danzuka.
Danzuka?
Yes. What a name.
It's almost like bazooka, but Dan instead of ba.
His dad just gave up like naming him. I wanted to call him Jim Bazooka, but I don't know. Dan got in the middle of it.
That sounds like a fake name. So am I thinking of this correctly? It's like Dan and then the Zuka from Bazooka?
Zuka, Dan Zuka.
Oh, okay. So it's not spelled damn.
Yeah, it's UKA.
Now I'm kind of disappointed. You could have just lied to me to keep the illusion, Rich.
Sorry, I'm reporting.
Now my whole world is shattered.
I'm reporting the facts here.
You and your damn facts. Yes. Okay, so what are the other facts from this case?
So this guy, 28-year-old Nathan Danzuka, crashed his car Friday afternoon, according to Oregon cops. When they were able to take him to the hospital for a medical evaluation, they did a blood sample, and that was when they found out his blood alcohol level was 0.778. Did you notice I did not put a 0 in there?
No, you didn't. That's not possible, is it?
0.778. The legal limit in Oregon is 0.08. So,
oh my God.
So that means he was driving at 9 times the alcohol legal limit for driving a car. He was 9 times drunker than that.
Oh my God.
So in case you're putting all the strings together, yes, folks.
I cannot believe that number. Go ahead.
Yes, folks. That means that out of all of the reported crimes in the United States, this is the highest blood alcohol content ever reported in a DUI.
Wow.
Congratulations, Oregon.
Good job, Oregon.
You did it. And by the way, the second highest count was 0.72 from another woman in Oregon. So You guys are shooting for the moon. Good job, Oregon.
What is happening in Oregon?
You guys shooting for the top spot, and you want to do better than the top spot. I admire the gutso here. Good job, Oregon.
They took first and second place. They're not backing down.
Yep.
They're the champs. That's wild.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Back-to-back finishes, 1 and 2.
So I'm just looking. I'm just curious. I'm just doing some basic research here. Wikipedia. It says anything over zero point 0.5, there is a quote high possibility of death. So that's just what it says on. That's just what it says on Wikipedia. That's actually really scary because even the level below that, 0.4 to 0.5, it says coma, possibility of death, severe central nervous system depression, and respiratory failure, heart rate, positional, alcohol, nystagmus. Yeah, for anything over 0.5, it just says high possibility of death. I don't know how this guy's alive right now.
Yeah.
Like his blood's like almost that's a lot of alcohol. That's a lot of alcohol.
His blood is just rum. just on a loop. Just coursing
on a loop, yeah. It's just all been replaced with alcohol.
Yeah. So yeah, once again, his blood alcohol level was 0.778, which is more than 9 times the legal limit of 0.08. Cops noted that he had several alcoholic beverages in the car when it crashed. So he
could keep it up.
Yeah, so he must have been not only drunk, but continuing the process.
Actively drinking while driving.
Yes. Just, this guy has a commitment. He wanted to get that top spot.
Look, you can't be a quitter. The thing that I'm learning from Cobra Kai, you can't be a loser. You can't quit, right?
Nah, yeah, you just got to keep going.
You got to keep going. Oh, my God.
Well, unfortunately, things are going to get worse for Danzuka because it turns out that his license was already revoked due to a previous DUI.
Beautiful.
Perfect. So he now faces multiple criminal charges. So he's gonna
just take his car, just force him to walk home. Like
he's gonna get some pretty big charges coming his way.
Yeah.
But no matter what happens, he can look at the record books.
That's right.
And he can proudly, I don't know, proudly say that he has the highest recorded blood alcohol content ever in a police report in the United States.
So here's the thing. When it comes to records, somebody has to contact Guinness, right? You're talking about like an official Guinness World Record.
Well, I don't know because this is United States. It's not technically a world record. I just realized that my bottom graphic is wrong. I'm sorry. It's not a world record. Technically, it's a U.S. record. Because I guess in theory there could be somebody in Europe
because I was just curious if it's an official record. Did somebody contact I guess it's not a Guinness Book of World Record.
But there is police records.
So it's just the record in terms of recorded DUIs by police.
Correct.
Okay, what is the Guinness World Record for highest blood alcohol contact?
Also, this is while driving a vehicle as well. So
that's impressive.
Yeah, that's impressive and scary at the same time.
Yeah.
So
whoa. All right. So I did a little bit of quick research. The highest blood alcohol contact ever recorded was a Polish man involved in a car accident.
Ah, there we go. It's another DUI.
Hold on. Do you want to know the amount?
What is it?
1.48.
What? How is that more than 1? Do you have like a superfluous amount of alcohol running through your veins? Are you sweating alcohol?
I don't know. Yeah, 1.48. I guess it's percent, so it's 1.48% of. I don't know how it works because I don't know.
Yeah, we're not
how
doctors.
The science is.
Yeah, we're not doctors. But
apparently, yeah.
That's impressive.
1.48%.
Well, and I guess that dude needs to come to America and break the record here.
Yeah, he needs. Yeah, I don't. How are any of these people alive? Now I don't understand how the science works. How are they? Did he die? Is he alive? I don't know. That's the Guinness World Record for the highest. At least that's what came up in a general Google search. So you tell me.
Yeah. Also, the dude has to make it alive. I think that needs to be another criteria. Because no offense, I think anybody could drink.
Oh yeah, anybody could break that. Yeah.
And by that logic, I guess you could just like have an IV of alcohol through you.
Yeah.
So okay, no, you have to survive, and you have to be driving a car. All these records happen when you're driving a car.
Is that the criteria? It has to be while in a car?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. I'm just actually on Wikipedia. They have a list of the highest blood alcohol content ratings here. In 1982, apparently a 24-year-old woman was admitted to the UCLA emergency room with serum alcohol content of 1.51, corresponding to a BAC of 1.33. She was alert and oriented to person and place. What does that even mean? Serum alcohol concentration is not equal to or calculated. Okay, so it's different, so it doesn't count.
And she wasn't driving. That doesn't count either.
It doesn't count. Yeah, she wasn't driving. In 1984, a 30-year-old man survived a blood alcohol concentration of 1.5% after vigorous medical intervention that included dialysis and intravenous therapy with fructose. Man.
Yeah, people are nuts when it comes to drinking.
Everybody, just slow down a little bit and don't get into a car.
Unless you're in Oregon and you're going for the world record.
Well, exactly.
The United States record. United States.
Look, he didn't get into an accident, did he? He just got pulled over.
He crashed the car himself. He
did crash the car.
Yeah, he crashed the car. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I missed that. I thought he was fine.
Yeah.
I thought he just got pulled over.
No, he crashed the car. Okay. But luckily it was just him.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I'm not advocating for drinking and driving.
Yes.
I was just curious. But yeah. Don't drink and drive unless apparently you live in Oregon, because you got to break those records.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go, Oregon. You've outdone yourself. Congratulations. You are a state to behold.
Congrats to Oregon for being the drunkest state around, I guess.
The drunkest driving state around.
The drunkest driving state. There you go. They got nothing better to do in Oregon.
All right, so there you go. That's the odd news for this week. But before we officially wrap up this episode, we got to go over apocalypse activities. Mike, what do you recommend people do this upcoming weekend?
So this past weekend, I was on a true crime binge. I watched Making a Murderer again with my girlfriend. She had never seen it before. I finally convinced her to watch Making a Murderer. It's fantastic if you haven't seen it. I also watched a Netflix show. I can't remember the name of any of these shows. American Murder Next Door or something like that, about Chris Watts.
Yes, I watched that.
Did you watch that? Oh my God, it's chilling because the whole thing is told through text messages and body cam footage and security footage of like actual and home recordings of like everything that was actually happening. It is so chilling. It is so haunting. And I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but it's the people involved, namely the person who ends up, being the killer, just reprehensible, sadistic people. I mean, my God. But it's, like I said, chilling and haunting. But the other one that I want to recommend is the one based on the Cecil Hotel. The Elisa Lam case.
I'm familiar with the Elisa Lam case.
Through BuzzFeed Unsolved.
And yeah, that is a show I wanted to watch. It's in my queue. Yeah.
It's very, very good. And if you've seen BuzzFeed Unsolved, they did an episode on it. And so this is a 4-part series that does a deeper dive into it and, talks more about the hotel and the issues of the surrounding area and why the hotel became a place of, it's about the Elisa Lam case, but it's also about how the hotel became a place of like death and depression and like all these like really sad stories. I know this sounds like very cheery material. But look, that's the path you decide to walk when you walk the path of true crime. Okay. I'm also listening to a podcast called Dr. Death, which is fantastic. I now realize I sound deranged because like the past week has just been nothing of like watching and listening to stories of death. But it's just sometimes interesting to explore those darker corners, you know, to hear those haunting, chilling tales, just to, you know, I don't know. It's just something about it is just compelling to me. Just it's like a
Yep.
real life horror story. You know what I mean? It's not like
So
a make believe horror story. It's like stuff that actually happened.
so there you go. Mike's got death, and Oregon's got drinking and driving. We got a lot of recommendations here.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, true crime. Watch the Cecil Hotel thing. It's fantastic. Rich, please tell me your apocalypse activities a little bit cheerier and not so apocalyptic.
I guess what I'm going to recommend now that I have my laptop back is I'm going to boot up City Skylines, and I wanted to head back into that. I randomly had the urge to do that like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to play it when I get home from work. Oh, I don't have my laptop.
Oh no.
So I've been looking forward that like one day this week I'm gonna dive back into City Skylines and create a new city and stuff. I
Nice.
love those games where
The
you get
city
to
builders and
the
the
city
managers.
builders.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to you know you get to place the things where you want it to place, and I don't know. There's something that satisfies maybe like a minor OCD in me that I like to make like the grid. I like to you know okay
I
this
know
is
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah like
It
you know what I
scratches
mean.
that itch of that organization and like that order and just like like watching this machine come together and work just the way you envision it. And then the shipping trucks congest the roads, and then there's an entire section of the city that's perpetually on fire. No, I'm not so angry that an entire part of my city burned down in the PlayStation 4 version. That's okay.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna do that at some point this week or weekend.
Nice.
But there you go, folks. That will officially start to wrap this episode up. I feel like this hour went by really fast. I don't know.
We
Is
had a
that
lot. We
me?
had a lot to talk about. It was a packed episode.
Yeah, I
You know, we
guess.
went over some Eagles news. We talked about, you know, the biggest draft bust ever. We talked about the Gina Carano controversy, Mortal Kombat, odd news. It was just a jam-packed episode.
Yeah. I feel like I blinked and it's over. So it
Yeah,
must have been a good show then. I hope it was.
like they all are.
Yeah. If you agree with that sentiment as well, make sure you support us. Make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And also, more importantly, let us know how this new template looks. This is the first show with our brand new template. Leave a comment below if you liked it, or if if you have any suggestions for improvement. Let us know. I personally think this little update was much needed, and I think it looks very good for our little show.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to check out the new template, you can find the video version of this podcast on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to our channel there. But you can still also get the audio version of the podcast through iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Amazon devices. So the point is, make sure that you search for, download, and subscribe to the Crispy Noodle podcast on YouTube or the podcast service of your choice.
That's right. We also have a SoundCloud page where you have mini noodles. Check that out as well. Also, by the way, check out our YouTube page where we just have a new video noodle about the worst state to get tattooed on your forehead
Oh,
from a couple
man.
weeks ago. So,
So good. Definitely go check that out. Rich did a fantastic job with the editing of the video. And I don't want to spoil anything, but he gives you an idea of what these states would look like tattooed on a forehead. And it's pretty interesting. But so many ways to get in touch with and share the Crispy Noodle podcast. If you want to get in touch with us individually on Twitter to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, or let us know how the new template looks like for the video, you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
and I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on the Twitters and let us know what's happening, or if you want us to talk about something, shoot it our way. But for right now, we got to wrap this up. This has been the Crispy Compact Communique. the offshoot of the Crispy Noodle podcast for 2021. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. That'll do it. Mike, anything else?
Nope. Hope everybody has a good week.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples.